Hey everybody, so it's been a few days here since I've done my last video, and it's mainly been chopped up to schoolwork, work, everything else, getting in between me and pretty much doing anything video related or even code related, as a matter of fact. One thing I've managed to get done the last week or so is just minor work on commission mods in order to pay the bills and a little bit of bug fixing. That's about it. The good news is, though, this coming week here, I will have quite a bit of free time. So let me go pull up the calendar just to iterate this for in case somebody's watching this video at a later date. So this is my last week of this term for the summer term. I should have a week, if not more. I haven't exactly checked when the next semester started, but I should have about a week before the next semester starts. Even if it starts, I plan to spend this entire week working purely on ICBM and not just adding new content or fixing things or kind of freshening things up. The plan is to actually start on the 112 update. I've announced this a few times and mentioned it. I know I've made many promissory dates of when I plan to kind of update the mod and kind of get things. And I've said I'll do it when I get this abstraction layer done, or I'll do it when I finish this API thing. It's got to the point where it's just going to happen now. There is going to be no more trying to make code to make the job easier. I've prototyped everything now, and I've prototyped it in such a way that I have enough of a concept of what's going to happen between each update, and I've updated for 1.8, 1.9, 1.10, 1.11, and 1.12, and I got to do 12.1 at some point because it just came out here yesterday. But I've got the grasp of how the rendering code now works. I've got a grasp of how the different localizations have changed, how the APIs have changed. Still working on my understanding of the capability system, which was introduced, I believe, in 1.9. I'm not exactly sure. But with all that, I think I know where I'm going when it comes to updating ICBM. And if I don't, I'm just going to have to figure it out. So we'll be doing that next week. I do have a dental appointment though, the 8th, so I might be down for that day, but we'll start the 7th with a little bit of code. We'll hit it real heavy the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. And the rest of the month, we'll be pretty much just fixing it. Cause probably 3 or 4 days, I will get a compilable version. For those of you who have no clue what the difference between compile and runtime is, it means the code will turn into an executable, but it may not run. I know it doesn't sound like a major thing, but getting code to compile is a pretty huge step in updating. Once we get it compiling, then we can fix all the runtime issues. It's just going to take us literally a couple weeks to fix all the runtime issues. I mean, we're jumping from 1.7.10 all the way to 1.12 in a very short period of time. A lot of mods have been given weeks to do this, and technically I've been given years to do it, but I haven't touched it for years. I mean, I only got the this version of ICBM in a playable state here a year and a half ago, and it's not even finished yet. I wish I had another year just to sit there and finish all the content, add the fueling systems, rocket launching systems, all the automated loaders, unloaders, different crafting systems, cranes, everything else. There's a huge list of content that I want to add to ICBM, to assembly line, armory mod. There's tons of mods I want to work on. I know it frustrates people when I jump between mods and work on things, but they all tie into each other. ICBM is not just meant to be played by itself. It actually is meant to be paired with other mods. So you're meant to take that mod, pair it with Basic Industries, which is meant to give you all your automation when it comes to ore processing and fabrication. The plan is to put a ton of machines in there dedicated just to crafting things like missile casings, guidance systems, doing your explosives. Assembly lines meant to automate all of it. Armory mods meant to give you basically weapons to defend it. Military base decor decorations. There's quite a few other small mods that I plan to throw in there, and some big ones too. Fluid mechanics and atomic science are two that need to be brought back to life in order to facilitate this. Fluid mechanics is not just going to be used for pipes. We're going to have mixers in there that are going to be designed for automatically mixing fluids together, which is going to be a pretty large thing when it comes to rocket fuel and various things like that. You'll probably even do your explosives in there, though it won't be realistic, but it'll be pretty close. Same with atomic science. You'll be using that to make nuclear fuels and everything else for the mods. Anyways, now that we've gotten through that part of the announcement, so here's what the reason I've really made the video is. It seems I've got like about 10 people who've now messaged me on Patreon, 2 on Twitter, and 3 by email, that have all gotten a bit concerned, because you see the top messages like good news of this Patreon post. You've probably been reading through it while I've been talking. I don't blame you. I do the same thing when I watch videos. I'll read what's on the screen and almost completely ignore the person talking. There is some bad news though. So I've been doing this modding for a very long time. I've been doing it for 7 years. Most of the time I've been doing it, it's just because I enjoy it. I enjoy watching people like my mods. I enjoy the challenge, and it's been a great distraction from college work and doing business applications in order to make profit. The problem is it's not making me any kind of money, but I'm spending most of my time on modding. And I know it's really stupid of me to assume that I can make money from modding in the first place, but I know there are other modders out there that do make a decent profit, not a huge one, and I don't plan to make a huge one. As this says right here, the plan is 1,000 a month, and this is from all sources. This isn't just Patreon, Curse, AdFly. It's everything. So this is both the money I plan to make from modding and probably a little bit of freelancing here as well. The problem is right now modding itself is only doing about $100 for me. Everything else I'm earning is from freelancing, from selling code, from doing odd jobs, stuff like that. It's getting me by, but it's not getting me to the point where I need to be this year in order to say I'm sustainable, where I can pay my own bills, pay for my own rent, not have to beg for money from friends and family in order to keep paying for things. I kind of want to get to that point. Now, I know some people are going to say I'm probably just going to be grubbing for donations after all. I mean, I'm showing you my Patreon page, and I am already making 102 off of 2 patrons. I'm very happy with people who have been donating, but I'm not asking for donations. I know if you give me some, I'm not going to reject them. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to be all uppity about donations. I'll take them, but I see donations as a temporary solution. It's something that it feels like it's more designed to kickstart a project. So if I was going and making a new mod, I can go, hey, can you guys donate some so I can kickstart this new project, so I can hire modelers, stuff. That's what I feel like donations are good for. What I have in mind outside of donations, which I think will actually work and will sustain this, is I just need to grow the community. So I need to build up this ideal I've had for a long time of making an actual community built around modding. This is where the whole concept of BuiltBrokenModding and gaming comes from. It's the reason why we have that gaming on the end of there, and it's not just BuiltBrokenModding. Is the concept is to have a core team of modders, then to build a community around that team, as long with third-party mod developers, so like other mod developers as well. Build this huge community that exists to just build mods, and not just for Minecraft, but like any game we desire to play. And I'm probably not describing it as best as I want. I built this whole script over here. It's on my other screen, but I haven't read from it a single point in this entire video. But I had this really cool ideal, and it's really hard to express, but I do imagine a really solid community that comes together and works on things. Not just to come together to support people like me, but to work with each other. So say people are having issues with server setup, somebody could come together and help them set up a server. They want custom mods, a couple people can pop up, build some mods, and then return back to whatever they're doing. Right now, the modding community is not like that. The modding community is really self-serving. People make mods for themselves. They sometimes make them for the community, maintain them from the community and stuff like that, but really a lot of the mods exist just because somebody wanted to make it, and that's about it. And I'm a little hypocritical in saying that, as a lot of mods I have made are for the same reason. I mean, it's the entire reason I have ICBM, because I was a little bit selfish when Cowclobby was getting to that point where he was quitting and everything. I traded almost everything I had to get ICBM, as I didn't want to see it die for personal reasons, because I liked the mod and it had a lot of good work in it. But I kind of held on to it and maintained it for more than just myself. I kind of wanted to see it develop out, and I wanted to see it get to this dream and a vision of this really cool modular mod that would interact and work really, really well. As well, I really did enjoy people having fun with the mod. I mean, I still get told stories to this day of people who would go onto a server and have fun with the old classic ICBM, and I was hoping to do the same thing with the new ICBM. I was hoping people could take that old nostalgic impression of the classic and do things with it. But with all the financial problems I've been having, it's really hard to keep up with this and still go and justify to my friends and family that I am making a living off this and I am doing what I think I can do to kind of maintain and pay the bills, which is not happening. After all, $100 for modding, and I think I'm even stretching that. I think it's actually, there's one mod which is doing $60 right now, which is wooden shears, one of the single blocks mods. ICBM is doing like 20 cents a month. Classic, I think, is doing 30 cents. Assembly Line is doing 5. And then Voltage, I'm not even really getting anything from it because it's a dependency for everything. So I'm not making anything at all here. And I don't want to sound like I'm begging for donations or anything, because, as I said, I want to build this community around all this modding, and I probably should have waited until I had coffee to probably start this video. But the ideal is I'm looking for people to help support the mods indirectly, simply by downloading them, playing them, sharing them with their buddies, coming to me, reporting bugs. I mean, anytime you ever have an issue with any mod, just report the issue to me. I usually fix them within a few days. If I don't fix them within a few days, it's usually something stupid like the Ender IO bug that's happening with my energy code. I haven't quite figured it out. It is a minor problem at most because normal RF stuff works with it, just Ender IO stuff doesn't work. It'll be fixed eventually. So, I mean, you report a bug to me. Simply just doing the downloads and stuff, just sharing those around. The downloads do generate money, thanks to Curse. So let's see. I managed to somehow get off of the main post here. So, I didn't really mention it here, but Curse is right now where I'm getting all the money. I don't have AdFly links on my site anymore. I haven't been making any money from them. I don't have Google ads on my site anymore. They're probably going to return because I need the money. I made $100 in 2 years. AdFly, I made like $300 to $400 in 2 years. I have yet to see a cent from YouTube, and it's only Patreon and Curse right now. It's the only 2 sources of income I am making from modding right now. All my rest of my income is coming from freelancing, and that's not really modding. That is more of somebody going, hey, I want some custom edition, and I just do the work, and that gets income. But I see the best way to do this is to get income off of the Curse downloads. I know there are a couple people in the community right now that are making 1,000 plus off of their income off of Curse. Although they're splitting it between 3 or 4 people, so it goes from 1,000 to like 300 each. It still shows that a single mod can make a ridiculous amount of money. And if I can get to 1,000 a month, that is a little under a minimum wage job. To kind of prove this, by the way, if you made $9 an hour and you worked 40 a week, you made $360 times 4, you make 1,400, and that's before taxes, because technically what you actually make is that. So it's a minimum wage job full time. So if I can hit to that, that would be great, because then that'll be a decent income. I can live off that. I can pay my bills. I'm going to have to be, this is one of the reasons why this is all coming up in the first place, is I'm about to turn 25 here. I know most people don't talk about their age on the internet. It's really surprising when you find out some of us mod developers are actually quite old. I started doing this all when I was 17, so although I didn't publish mods until I was 18, so it's a little weird when you think about it. But so I've been doing this for a really long time. And I've hit a point now where, because I'm turning 25, I have to take care of my own insurance. And I've been relying on my mom right now, who's been paying for my health insurance, my dental, my eye care, my car insurance, phone bills, internet, power, food, just like a little bit of everything she's been taking care of, which I'm really grateful for. But I want to take the burden off of her because she doesn't have a huge expendable amount of income. I mean, she's a manager for Lowe's, so she makes a decent amount of money. But she doesn't make enough money to support 2 kids and herself and pay her mortgage and pay all of her bills. And it's been draining her income pretty bad, so I want to make sure I take that off of her. Especially here with this worry that eventually she might lose her job if Lowe's decides they don't want HR managers. It's been a rumor that's been going around pretty much. I've expressed it a few times here on Twitter, and nobody still knows what exactly is going to happen. They know that Lowe's wants to do some kind of restructuring, and it's just going to happen eventually, and the way it looks like is they're going to mirror something like JCPenney's did, and they're going to have regional HRs. They're going to have less managers in each store. They might have more employees, although JCPenney's went with less employees in general. I think that's kind of what killed their store, in my opinion. But they're going to go with more front-end employees, et cetera, which means less managers and possibly my mom not having a job. If that happens, well, I will have to quit modding. There's just no option on that one. This is why I want to get to a point where I'm making $1,000 a month by November. I know that's only 3 months, and I'm probably not going to hit it. The maximum deadline I can go to is March. That's when I turn 25, and that's when I probably have to take on my own insurance around then. That gives us 6 months, I believe, if I'm not fudging the math completely. Actually, I think it's 7 months. If you consider the fact we're at the beginning of this month, it's 7 months. So that gives us quite a bit of time to figure this all out. That gives me time to do things. I actually am exploring other options. So this $1,000 a month income thing, one of the options I am exploring is I'm developing 2 games right now, and the whole goal is to get one of them on Steam by December. Probably not going to happen by December. That's the goal, but I'm working with a small team that is not exactly self-motivating. So we show up and we talk about making things, and we have actually almost completed one of the prototypes. We have a tabletop game I've showed a few times on YouTube. I did that in 2 weeks, got a prototype going, but there's like a month's worth of work still left in that game engine. But one of the new ideas we're going on, and I have made a video talking about this, but I haven't uploaded it yet, of a tower defense game that's based in either World War I or World War II. We're still working on the storyline. It'll be really nice. I'm not going to spoil the storyline because it actually will be a very interesting alternative twist on World War I and World War II, and I might take the storyline and keep making games for it, as I really like it, and we have a few other game concepts that will tie into it really well. So that's one of the options we're looking at. And if I ever get them on Steam, then that will cover the 1,000. I won't need to ask you guys for help, and I can just make these mods for free continuously, which is one thing I want to keep doing. I want to keep making these mods for free, as I don't feel like I should charge for them, even though I can. I know my overview on my Patreon says exactly this. I easily could be charging anywhere from $10 to $60 for the products I make. And for those who say the Minecraft Eloy can't do that, you actually can. I've actually asked a few Mojang developers, you can actually charge for mods. It's very sketchy to do it. And I know as soon as I do it, the whole community will pretty much turn on me if I ever do this. One of the reasons I haven't done it. The second reason is it doesn't feel right. There are ways to make income off of things like this for free. And that's things like ad revenue and downloads. And those are the 2 things I'm going to focus on. So right now it's going to be downloads for the Curse site. And eventually my website is going to have a much more elaborate wiki on there. And you guys are going to see ads on that. I apologize. I hate ads as much as you do. I have ad blocker just like everybody else. And hell, Patreon, it's blocked one page site on here. But it's like, speaking of which, we could browse through my site to make this video length up, because YouTube loves high video length. I have no clue why. So, site, I know we've already talked, I've already got a post on here that even says we've removed the ads, and man, I don't even know how old this post is. I mean, they're talking about, this is just when we added the missile health AMS stuff. Speaking of AMS, the AMS got removed to a different mod, and unfortunately I didn't finish updating the mod, so I know a few people have complained, but yeah. Wow, our site still needs work on. The front page looks all so beautiful and everything. I guess also this is a good time to talk about this. Another way we're getting income right now is we are being sponsored by Accolus. They do help us out. They give us servers. I completely forget to mention this every time, but we are working on getting a few servers up for you guys to use. How it's going to work right now is I'm going to tie them into the Patreon until we get them stabilized. So we have a 7 Days to Die server, which is up right now. As soon as I get a few things tweaked about it, it's going to be opened up to Patreon people. And I mean, it's like you can pay $1 to get access to it. So it'll be opened up. It'll be public pretty much. Well, it'll be Patreon, and I'll probably, anybody in Discord I'll give access to. I don't have Discord open right now, so I can't show that, but we'll make a channel in there, and we'll be like, hey, if you're in here, you can have access. I don't really care. I don't really want to just paywall restrict it, because right now the only reason I'm going to probably put it for Patreon only is I just need a couple people to test the server to make sure it's running. We have a couple Minecraft servers we're still working on. I know we've talked about this many times before, and it really comes down to time commitment. We've just don't have enough time every day to work on the servers, and when we do, we can't get them stabilized. So we have the Volts and the Volts Classic pack that we have been working on, and those 2 packs we want to get up on servers. After all, that's the main reason why Ackless sponsors us, is they want those packs on their website. So we want to get those up, get those running, and what we'll do is we'll start off with setting it up so people on Patreon can get access to them. We'll treat them as test servers for a while, and we'll work on using them to stabilize things and get things going. And the plan is I want to get the Volts 2.0 pack, which is what, let me go pop over to Curse here to show it off. I made it, nobody downloads it. I would love if you guys would actually download and test this pack. I know the current version is a little garbage. I'm pretty confident on this because we haven't got to any of the new phases here. So we got phase 1 done for the pack, which basically just has stuff in it. So we have a few mods in here, which is basically almost entirely just BBM mods with a few essentials like inventory tweaks, not enough items, and open computers. There's not a lot going on here. We have applied energistics too. Yeah, I'll leave that one in there. It'll work. So we got all this in here. Need to test it. Need to work on it. Assembly line and basic industries are the 2 I actually need to spend a huge amount of time working on, because right now we don't really have machines, we don't have industry, and I'm not going to add mechanism IC2 or RF if I don't care how many times people ask. It's been asked repeatedly. This pack is designed to be centered around both ICBM and basic industries and assembly line. Technically, assembly line is tied with basic industries. They're independent mods, but they kind of support each other. I actually have been even considering the possibility of just taking basic industries and tossing it in assembly line, but the 2 have 2 different ideologies on their development. Assembly line is entirely geared towards mass production of resources and items and everything, while basic industries is not. It's pretty much designed around that classic IC2 style machinery, but with a highly modular, highly customizable feel to it. I know you can see the furnace right there, but one of the most beautiful things about it is I have a modular machine that renders in 3D without lagging the crap out of your world, and it's really cool. If you put upgrades in it, you see the upgrades visually, and it's designed to play that way. With this, we also, of course, have the classic Volts pack. The classic Volts pack is actually going a lot better than Volts 2.0. And the reason I say that is because it literally is the classic Volts. It's the one that was listed up on Technic, exactly the same. Unfortunately, we had to name it differently because the Technic team is, I haven't even figured out what's going on with that. We got into a bit of a hissy fit with each other. Both of us managed the situation wrong, and at this point, I don't think either of them wants to deal with each other. I'm open for discussion with them if they ever decide they want to not be stubborn about the situation, but yeah. Anyway, so we look at the dependencies on this guy, and it's pretty simplistic. I don't know why we got CFOH core in there. We got modular power suits, not enough items. Of course, Volts engine in there, Mine Factory Reloaded, the classic version of ICBM. I honestly got to figure out why we got CFOH core in there. Not that I have anything against it, it's just I don't see any of the other thermal expansion mods in here, but it probably is a dependency. I think we had an accidental dependency in Volts engine here a while back on the core, and just because of project management is a pain. But yeah, I'm running out of things, and I didn't follow my script at all. I had this like really cool deep-hearted message in the script, and of where I talked about the whole UE team splitting apart and the whole dream we originally had. Because when I joined Universal Electricity Team, and I'm not reading off the script for those who go like, oh, you're reading off the script now? No, that's not what I'm doing. But when I joined UE Team, I had this vision for what UE could be, and I didn't really share it, and that's probably like half the problem why this never happened. And there's a whole thing of self-blame on that whole situation, but me and Calclavia made the Universal Electricity Team, and we made the API. I mean, he did a lot of the groundwork, so I'm not going to claim a lot out of him. He actually did most of the work for UE. But I had this ideal that Universal Electricity could become not only just the API for power systems, but could become a focal point for the community to help support fellow mod developers, work with each other, kind of interact, actually build up a proper modding community. We still don't have a proper modding community. We have this loose collection of mod developers that sort of talk to each other, but don't. We help each other when if it feels convenient, but we don't go out of our ways to actually build up a really good, nice community. There's a lot of really good talent in the community right now. There's absolutely amazing people, but I'm still watching things like the Forge team's only got like a handful of members supporting a system that's used by thousands of mod developers and millions of users. They could use a lot more people helping them out, and I was dreaming of the point where Universal Electricity would actually get merged into Forge. I know that would never happen, but that was like one of those like pipe dreams that you have when you're pretty what's the word? Pretty naive and pretty new to the whole software development thing, and haven't learned that people just generally don't work together. But we had that dream where we would build up a community. We would actually build really solid mods. I mean, for those who ever still remember the Universal Electricity days, we had a core. We had a solid dependency which did all of our ores and ingots and everything and dust. Then we had mods that built on top of that. We had fluid mods, we had machine mods, we had green energy mods. We had power force fields, we had missiles, we had weapons, we had a little bit of everything. I mean, a lot of mods had spawned out of Universal Electricity. Modular power suits is one of them. Galactic Craft is another. Open Computers even worked with us for a while, although they did their own thing. I'm not going to claim that they spawned out of us because they didn't. To be honest, even when it comes to modular power suits, she kind of just hung around, interacted with us, but overall just existed there. But you had things like the new version of modular force field system, which I'm maintaining right now. And for those who keep asking me to update it, it's going to happen. Just I'm one guy trying to maintain. I think I have 44 projects now on Curse, and it's getting out of hand. We lost all of our developers. It's literally, when it comes to the team right now, it is me and DMod, and that's pretty much the main reason why I'm asking for money at this point. Is not just because I'm running out of bills and everything, is because I literally don't have free time anymore. I am putting all my time in to maintain all these mods, and the hope was, and when I'm trying to build up this community, that I would have a whole bunch of mod developers. I mean, we had Clutch and Green, but both of them left because nothing was happening, and we had a lot of people join and leave. We had a lot of people we were trying to train. Like a couple of people we trained just kind of joined, got the training, and left. That seems to be a consistency with how things have gone. I think I've trained over the lifetime of the 7 years I've done things. I've trained like maybe 400 people how to mod. I'm still training people. I'm trying to train my buddies right now. I got Grogger and Shadow, which both help me out with mod development. They're not part of the team officially. I've listed them on the roster a couple times, but the reality is Grogger just does models occasionally, and Shadow will help with story writing and stuff like that, and he'll build structures. So if we ever make a world generation mod, you'll see him just make structure after structure after structure. Probably Grogger will jump in too. Our last server, he built a whole bunch of structures because I was getting ready to work on the Artflex mod again. So he built me a ton of roads and buildings and everything to do world gen with, and then I never got around to it. I think I got off track though. So with the whole Universal Electricity thing, so we had that concept. We wanted to build a community, or at least I wanted to build a community. I wanted to bring mod developers together to work together. This never happened, of course. We ended up having Mechanism come in, and Mechanism kind of just blew everything apart. It sucked up every piece of content it could find, and this is actually one of the reasons I ended up hating Aiden. It wasn't really him. We actually worked our issues out. For those who don't know, I made a video a while ago complaining about how I didn't like him. He saw the video, he came to me, we talked for several hours over Discord, and we worked our problems out. But one of the reasons I never kind of liked him is when Mechanism came in, it seriously sucked up a lot of the content in the Universal Electricity team, and it kind of gave this imposing feeling that anybody who came into the team wasn't going to be appreciated or used. We actually lost developers with that mod. We had a team working on green energy. We had a team doing various other things. I was working on a fluid mechanics mod, which had really nice pipes and pumps and stuff. And then, of course, you've probably heard the story where Aiden adds his own pipes and then gives me shit inside of IRC. And then that's where the whole rivalry sparked off. And then I tried to outcompete him all the time. We had assembly line. Assembly line stayed around for like a long time. I had a steam power mod that died off. I actually kind of let it die off because Railcraft added their own stuff, and that probably completely unrelated. But I still always have that feeling like they saw steam power and like, oh, you know what, I could do that. Getting off track again. I only have a few minutes here before I have to finish the video, but the ideal of bringing people together and working together was that we all made our own content and we didn't overlap each other. So you would have a guy making pipes, you would have a guy making wires, you would have a guy making ores and world generation. You have somebody making the power armor, somebody doing the weapons, missiles, and we'd all work together. So you'd have one guy that would be in charge of this mod, but then there could be like 30 developers who would jump in and go, you know what, there's a new flu system that just came out. Let's all jump on this mod real quick and let's clean it up and build it and refurbish all the code and make it update for the new version. That was the dream, is to have that large of a team so we could build really reliable mods, really solid mods with a lot of elegant functionality. This is actually one of the reasons I made the single blocks mod series, is I wanted to have this really elegant set of mods that were highly simplistic, and that was one of the dreams of Universal Electricity, is have a ton of small mods. And the goal was that you would download a launcher. Actually, this is something we discussed once upon a time with Calclavia and everything, is that we would have a launcher that would install Universal Electricity and Forge for you, and they would have a drop-down menu that you would go, okay, I want to do a power mod, I want to do a wire mod, I want to install this crafting mod that increased the crafting difficulty, I wanted to have this tech mod. I mean, we had so many ideals that existed, and it all revolved around building a community that was geared towards kind of supporting the community and giving them really cool content. Plus we kind of, there's a lot of other things that went into that. I have a whole video I could make over just the Universal Electricity thing, but to cap it off, this all did happen, of course. Universal Electricity fell apart, partially due to poor management, partially due to there was no teamwork. I think it's like the biggest reason why it collapsed is there was no teamwork, and me and Calclavia just at the end got so bitter of each other, we just decided to leave. For those who also don't know, is that I kind of left for the reason that I was doing, at the end, right before the team quit for like the last year, I was putting in about 60 to 80% of the work and was not getting any credit. I was getting none of the download money. I was getting literally nothing. I'd go onto server and say I was the ICBM dev, and people would go, no, you're not, Calclavia is. And I was like, but I made all this and we don't believe you. And yeah, I'd probably make another video on just that by itself. But yeah, so developing community, and I've been rambling for 30 minutes now, and I gotta go take my dog to the vet here. But I wanted to make this video to kind of reiterate on the whole concept. I need money, but I don't want donations. And I think that building a community that just downloads the mod and supports it and helps me build up the things like wikis and the sites and finding bugs, I think that by itself will result in the mods doing much better. Donations are very short-lived. They are things like, I know people who have donated to me that can only give me $5, and that's all the money they had to give in the first place, and they chose to give it to me, and I'm really honored about that. But I don't want to be asking money from people, especially when I know there's people that don't have money as well. So if I'm doing bad, I don't want to make somebody worse off just to make my existence better. Instead, I want to build up a community that just by simply downloading mods. I mean, you look at things like NEI, JEI, InvaTweaks, these mods make huge amounts of downloads and make a decent amount of profit. I know ICBM will never get to that point because it's a very niche mod, but the ideal is that even if I could get it to a point where it's making $100 by itself, I have enough mods. So it's ICBM Classic, we have, if we actually go back to the curse page here, which, by the way, just to show off reward store, this just to cap off improve things. I literally only make 30 points. This is a little over $1, so I believe 20 points. Actually, we'll do the math here. So 400 is $20. So actually, I think it's 20. Hold on, let's clear this. I'm horrible at using a calculator, especially when I've had no coffee in the morning. It's 5 cents a point right now. So if you times that by 31, just to be generous and round up, I'm making $1.50 a day. And you times that by 30, I'm not even making $60. So my math sucks because I was thinking I was making $60 off this. I'm making $46. That's off of every project I own. And you can see this right here. So these mods aren't getting any downloads. And I believe that if I can just get the community working a little better here, and we can just get more mod packs. I mean, you guys are, I don't care who makes a mod pack. You guys have full permission to make mod packs on Curse. I cannot stop you. I rather you guys make them just on Curse, but you guys can go make them on Technic, AT Launcher, make multi-MC packs. I really don't care. Just go download the mods. I want to see these mods used, not just because it makes me money, but I want to see these mods used. I make them for people to enjoy them. I make all this stuff because I think somebody will love it. Like Bone Torch, even though I made this for my own reasons, because I ran out of sticks in the nether, and it was like, you know what, it would be nice to make a Bone Torch for things, but I published it because I believed that there were other people that needed that ability as well. Things like baggable plants, being able to pick up plants from various mods, all of that. So it's, yeah, just, guess I have to go here. So my brother's poking me, going like, hey, it's time to leave. So I'll end this video here. It's been 36 minutes of me rambling, and I'll try to reiterate on this with a little better formatting, so you're not just looking at me opening web pages and talking, but I felt like this needed to be got out here, not as well to remind you that I am still making videos, I am still working on things, and the last 2 weeks of me not publishing a video has just been schoolwork and everything else, and we're going to get back into it. Before I go, I'm going to be streaming almost every single day as soon as my schoolwork's done. So Saturday, I take my final exam. Sunday, all the way to the next Sunday, I should have nothing interfering with it other than that dental work Tuesday. So every single day streaming, mod development of ICBM. I'll probably try to put in an hour or two of the stream time. It's going to be a little hit or miss because I'm still not accustomed to the whole streaming logic thing, and we're going to just kind of hit up on it. I'll try to make some videos as well. So what we'll do is I'll take the stream video, upload it if I can, and then I'll make some demo videos showing the progress or talking about what we're doing. I know I want to make a ton of videos just talking about what we plan to add and everything else, but I got to get heading out here, and I'll see you guys later.